Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm your bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress.
Welcome back. I'm Cognac Willa Lane, and we are here at this fabulous bookstore, Bookhampton, in Southampton. And I am here with the author of this fabulous book, Savoring the Hamptons, the author, Ms. Sylvia Lara.
That's okay. It's a delight to be here and a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for coming to Bookhampton and
Well,
Southampton.
how could I miss this opportunity? I mean, savoring the Hamptons. Now, this book is all about the produce and the foods of the East End, right?
It's basically about the people who live here, who work hard here, who have committed themselves to the land, the farmers, the fishermen, the artisans, and the vintners. And basically, I mean, Savoring the Hamptons is a celebration of the bounty and the seasonality of the Hamptons. Long Island, as any island, would work in seasons. As a result, the book is focused on the seasons. We start with spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And of course, I had been working as a cooking teacher for many years, and when I came here 20 years ago, I continued teaching, and I was just overwhelmed with the quality of the ingredients. The farm stands were already here. Tom Halsey, a farmer who came here in 1644, sprouted, or the family, the Halsey family, are widely available here in the Hamptons. They broke off into different branches. You have the Green Thumb Halsey family, you have the Milk Pail Halsey family, you have the Tom Halsey on Deerfield Road, and of course there are many other families that have developed wonderful ingredients at their farms over the years.
And you felt this was the perfect opportunity to write a book like this.
There's no doubt about it. Thank you for that, because over the years, developing recipes for the cooking classes. Oh, I also have been writing, for the same period of time, a weekly cooking column for Dan's Papers. And
Yes, I know that. That's what brought me to the
great.
Bookhamptons, because I know that you are a seasoned writer for Dan's Papers.
Thank you. And so between the developing recipes for the classes, using the wonderful quality local ingredients, there was one moment I said to myself, and this is a good 10 years ago, I said, these farmers and the fishermen and all the folk who made that commitment to the land and have devoted themselves to work so hard to maintain the farms and not sell off, if you know what I mean, with all the development that happened over those years.
Yes, we know about the Hamptons developing, darling. We know about that.
Well, as a result, I mean, I'm so devoted to these people who, for me, are the real heroes of the South and the North Fork. Let's not forget about the North Fork. I hope my wonderful farms like Satter Farm over, I think it's Cutchogue, and Sangley Farm, either Cutchogue or Mattatuck. You have many more farms, and as well as chefs who I've profiled in the book, who have just maintained that devotion to the land and feeding us all so well. I mean, it's just been marvelous.
And the wines, too. Do you feature also the wines in the book?
About 12 vineyards. By the way, I would like to mention Louisa Hargrave. Louisa and her husband, they no longer have the vineyard, and I don't think they're any longer together, but Louisa has maintained her status as a wine expert, and she was very, very helpful in suggesting some of the vintners, the winemakers that have been consistent over the year, and they're all profiled in the book. I have at least 12 of them.
12.
Yeah.
Wow.
And wonderful stories. I mean, they're homey stories. They're grassroots stories. And
They have a long history of.
well, actually, winemaking here does not go that far back, and I like that question because even though Louisa was the first, and her husband was the first vineyard on the East End, she was on the North Fork. They no longer exist, but that was only early 70s, and that wasn't such a long
You're
time
right. That
ago.
isn't so long ago.
But I truly believe in the last 10 years in particular, the wines of Long Island have really reached a wonderful high. They're getting great
Just as
press.
good as Italy, right?
Italy, California,
France.
everywhere.
And we have the perfect climate for it, I believe.
Yes, that microclimate they talk about. Well, all of that is in those profiles. There are wonderful, marvelous, homey stories, and I hope that those who
And
pick
I'm
up...
sure that your readers and your fans are going to really enjoy this book. I know I will enjoy the book.
Well, as well as the farmers and their stories, and they're all different, and they've all made a commitment in one different way or other. And so I must have about 18 farmers in the book that I profiled. I would also like to mention, the fishermen. I just don't have that many, but people like Corjay, Jimmy Cornisi of Corjay in Hampton Bays, as well as Bruce and Charlotte Sasso in Amagansett, that's Stewart's Fish Market. They have a delicious story of how they, they started, how they met in Montauk when Charlotte was at one of the restaurants there, and just how they took this seafood market and developed it to one of the largest in the Hamptons today. But more than anything, I want to talk about our artisans. Our artisans really only started in the 2000s. So even though I thought about writing this book more than 10 years ago, it would never have been the same without the artisans. People like Art Ludlow of Mecox Bay Dairy, who makes glorious cow's milk cheeses, different varieties, delicious. Catapano cheese on the North Fork with their goats and goat cheese, feta cheese, yogurt.
I love it.
goat
I love
yogurt.
cheese.
Yeah, and as well as Mary Waltz. Mary Waltz is our honeybee keeper, and she has hives all over the North and South Fork. I don't want to forget David Falkowski. David is a delightful young man who fell in love with mushrooms, and he grows his own wild mushrooms right here in Bridgehampton. By the way, all of these ingredients are available at the farmers market, Sag Harbor, Bridgehampton, and right here in Southampton, I believe, on Sundays. And so I hope that, everybody will partake, because you want to eat local. It's all, you hear the words locavore, you hear the word sustainable, you hear the word organic. It's just become part of our everyday vocabulary. And basically,
What do you like to eat?
everything. Almost everything. Please support the farmers market, support your local farm stands, because by doing so you're building a community. And that's what we're all about, a community.
Well, the Hamptons
yeah,
is a community, which brings me to my next question. How long have you been living in this,
20
on the East
years
End?
on the East End, 20 years on the East End.
Where do you live?
In Watermill.
Oh, you live in Watermill.
Right.
Lovely.
It's
It's lovely.
Oh, it's all very lovely. Yeah, I've been very lucky.
And that's your favorite place in the Hamptons?
I can't, not at all. It's all my favorite place. And we don't want to forget about the North Fork. That sometimes the people on the North Fork have a little issue with being in the Hamptons. They're the North Fork. They're a very special place. And it's beautiful.
It's like like North and South. It's sort
well,
of.
we have the Twin Forks. It's the North Fork and the South Fork, and they're just as beautiful in a different sort of mellower sort of way. And it's very
Sylvia,
special.
did you ever think of owning have you ever owned your own restaurant?
No, and I never wanted to.
Why is that?
I don't know. I was a cooking teacher for a long time, and I had my own cooking school. as well as cookware tabletop shop. Back in the 60s, I sort of was getting a reputation for being a pretty decent cook. And I actually had someone local who wanted to back me in a restaurant. And I said, it's a whole different thing. And I was, I had small children then and early toddlers, and I just really didn't want to take that time away.
And
The
you still
restaurant-
feel that
I
way.
absolutely do. I'm very, very happy writing and teaching. And that's, I'm just...
And that's what
delirious.
that's what you're meant to do.
Well, and my name, my maiden name is Ellis, and my married name is Lara. And when I got married, I was not a teacher then, and I was told that Lara meant teacher, so it was prophetic.
Oh my goodness.
Is that right? Lara
That's-
means in German or Austrian.
Are you German?
No. My husband of that ancestry.
Okay.
No, I'm actually Sephardic. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes, I do know
Okay,
it is.
because
Are you talking
I
to a
have a-
girl that comes from the 5 towns?
Oh my goodness. So they're all in Lawrence.
Jewish and Italian people my whole life as a
Karen
child.
Wise was the photographer in the book, and I would like to mention her.
Go right ahead.
She did, and I don't know if you could see the pictures, but they selected a picture of the harvest of vegetables, winter harvest vegetables. Now for spring, if anyone suggests doing a wonderful spring salad, look at this beautiful spring green salad. It's made with roasted garlic vinaigrette. You can roast the garlic and have it in your refrigerator forever, and then make your vinaigrette when you're ready. And then you saute garlic chips, and then the oil that you saute the chips in, you make your vinaigrette with Dijon mustard and red wine vinegar. Oh, it's absolutely luscious.
You're making me whole. Wow, look at that.
This is a rhubarb and strawberry dessert. I taught this at the library the other day. And just to give it a little bit of texture, I added a praline crunch to garnish the top. And it's just fabulously delicious. If I tell you
Looks
the
like it's very fattening
if
too.
I tell you
Is it
everything in
fattening?
No, not at all. You will eat it in moderation, and it's not going to put an ounce on you, I promise. But what I'd like to say, the rhubarb strawberry is so easy to make. You just throw it in a pot and cook it away. There are graduated situations where you start with the rhubarb and end with the strawberries. And then you put it in the refrigerator. You can make it a week before you're going to serve it. You layer it with ice cream, or just do it. You don't need the parfait glasses. You can just do it in a dessert dish and top it with the praline, which is luscious. And there are so many wonderful recipes. I made some guacamole for a tasting, and I also made some pita chips. If you'd like to taste it, I don't know where they put it, but it's
It's here at the store?
It's here at the store.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll ask them where it is.
Yeah, okay. I know this is one of the more familiar recipes in the book. I assure you, you will find so many recipes that are so different and so delicious. But this one is made with tomatillos. If you know what tomatillos are, they're a berry. They're not a tomato. They look like a green tomato, and this is a picture of them. It has a little husk. They're peeled, and they're just literally simmered with some jalapeno and garlic, and then pureed, and then you do the regular avocado, tomato, scallions, blah, blah, blah. I had Cookteak in Tenafly, New Jersey. This is the back of the book. I entertained, I rather really was very lucky to have some great culinary experts. Jacques Pepin, everybody knows that
Oh,
name.
yes.
And he wrote this wonderful comment on the back of the book. In Savoring the Hamptons, Sylvia takes us with enthusiasm and great allure through the seasons with the locavore food and wines of that special spot, paying tribute to the culture, the integrity, and the uniqueness of that extraordinary place. And if I may just add one more, Louisa Hargrave, who I spoke about earlier, who was the first vineyard out here, Savoring the Hamptons is bursting with flavor. Through the seasons, from spring into winter, we share her delight in discovering the East End's cornucopia of food and wine. And so, there I am.
And so, everybody go out and buy the book, right?
I hope so.
I want to thank you so much for
It
that
was my
fabulous,
pleasure.
wonderful
Thank you so much for coming. Oh, of course. Double.
double side, darling, just like the Italians do it.
Exactly.
We'll be back in a moment with more interviews right here at Bookhampton in Southampton at the bookstore, and we're covering Savoring the Hamptons by Sylvia Lara.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And we'll be back in a moment, darlings, with more interviews. Keep watching. Pink Champagne Kisses.
Fancy dress to impress. One of a kind girl. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.